If you objectively look at the prototypical life of a modern human being, specifically related to nutrition and health, you can easily understand why I think that we all live in the matrix. Hear me out. A modern human being, you, starts their life surrounded by fake, garbage, highly processed, Franken food, full of sugar, high glycemic carbohydrates, alcohol, inflammatory seed oils, and various additives and chemicals. These foods are pervasive, socially accepted, highly advertised, and are engineered to be delicious and addictive. At the same time, you are taught from the beginning that animal foods are bad, saturated fats are bad, red meat is bad, eggs are bad, butter is bad, cholesterol is bad, etc., etc., etc. The result is that you will slowly develop metabolic syndrome with all the connected chronic issues of the modern human being, such as chronic pain, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, hypertension, cancer, and ultimately dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So think about this. Whenever you start experiencing issues in your life, you will turn to the modern healthcare system. And unfortunately, in the majority of cases, this system will prescribe a pill to deal with a particular symptom of the day without searching and correcting the actual root cause of the issues. Any additional symptom, maybe even caused by the previous pills that you got, require additional pills. So, all of a sudden, you will find yourself sick, heavily medicated, and dependent on drugs and medications for the rest of your life. And you will be convinced that you're doing the right thing, and you will be clueless to why you have all these issues. And maybe you will blame genes or bad luck. So let's try to analyze this situation from above, as objectively as possible, simplifying it to the bare minimum. By the way, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Help me out with the algorithm. There are a few actors at play here. 1, big food. 2, big pharma. 3, modern healthcare. And then 4, it's us. So, number 1, big food. Big food has been developing Franken foods for the past 50, 60 years, optimizing for addictive taste in order to create lifelong customers for the products. The ultimate goal of these companies is not your nourishment or your health, it's their bottom line. These Franken foods are one of the major causes of all modern chronic diseases. They slowly cause inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction, and metabolic syndrome. Somehow, we have been convinced that these Franken foods are actually real foods, that they are normal, and that do not pose any significant risk. Not only that, we also think that without this food, we could not live a happy life. These foods bring us joy. We need these foods. We cannot live without them. Now, in parallel, Big Pharma has been riding the wave of the destruction caused by big food by coming up with drugs that treat symptoms rather than addressing the root causes of the issues. And by doing that, they gained lifelong customers who will constantly need medications to deal with all the issues caused by the Franken foods created by big food. Also, in this case, their goal is not your well being, is not your health. Their goal is their bottom line. The more lifelong customers they have, the more sick you are, the greater their bottom line. Now, finally, modern healthcare. Modern healthcare participates in all of these in at least 2 ways. So, first, it acts as an extended arm of Big Pharma by prescribing Big Pharma's drugs to treat symptoms without actually correcting the underlying causes. And second, it keeps providing incomplete or wrong nutritional information by demonizing whole, natural, nutrient dense foods, so animal foods, and by keeping some myths alive, like saturated fats are bad, don't eat eggs, don't eat butter, eat low fat, eat whole grains, cholesterol is bad, etc., etc. Let me give you a couple of concrete examples. First, hypertension. Inevitably, by eating a lot of garbage foods and drinks full of high glycemic carbohydrates, sugars, inflammatory seed oils, maybe alcohol, you will develop high blood pressure at a certain point. Once that happens, usually the doctor will prescribe you blood pressure lowering medications without actually correcting the underlying issue. If that happens, you will be hooked on that medications for life. But think about it. Your body has decided to increase your blood pressure for some reason. Probably needs the heart pump more vigorously because it needs the blood and thus the nutrients and the oxygen in it to reach all the periphery, brain included. And that's probably happening because maybe your blood is too viscous, or maybe your arteries are too stiffened, or you have blockages in your blood vessels, etc., etc. There might be many reasons. But the blood pressure medication will not target those reasons. It will only lower the blood pressure numbers. And once your number go down, then you and your doctor will be happy. You're good. You're good to go. The reality is that you're not cured. The underlying issue is still there. And if you do this in this way for a prolonged period of time, you might be causing additional issues because your blood is not reaching all the places that it needs to reach. Let's see another example: cholesterol and heart disease. The modern diet provided by Big Food will inevitably cause your cholesterol to go up for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is that you're causing damage to the endothelium of your arteries with sugars, high glycemic carbs, vegetable seed oils, nicotine, alcohol, etc. And your immune system is reacting with chronic inflammation and deposition of plaques. And these plaques require cholesterol. So now, all of a sudden, your doctor will look at your blood tests and will determine that your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, is too high. And what do? They will prescribe a statin medication without actually correcting the underlying issues. Again, like in the blood pressure medication case, your LDL numbers will go down, you and your doctor will be happy. Fantastic, you're cured. You're not cured. The underlying issues are still there. And you have probably made things worse in the long term. Not to mention all the nasty side effects of statin medications that I mentioned in my previous videos, including dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Go and check them out. So, in both these examples, the following things happened. One, Big Food caused the deterioration of your health without you really understanding that it's their fault. They are happy, they are keeping you as a customer, and they will extract wealth from you until you're dead. Number two, Big Pharma provided a solution to the symptoms. Number three, modern healthcare pushed Big Pharma's solution on you without addressing the root causes, ultimately making you a lifelong customer of Big Pharma, which can keep extracting wealth from you until you die. So here's why I think we live in the matrix. One, we are convinced that all of this is normal and that we're sick because of genes or bad luck. Number two, we are convinced that the modern Frankenfoods are okay. They are foods. We even defend them and we state that we cannot live without them. Number three, we are convinced that whole natural nutrient dense foods such as meats, eggs, saturated animal fats, etc. are bad. Number four, we are convinced that taking medications is the only way. And in many cases, we actually defend those medications like the greatest science achievement. So, yes, you live in the matrix and you are being kept alive as long as possible to keep filling Big Foods and Big Pharma's pockets until the day you die. Pretty grim, huh? Well, this is how I see it. And this is the impression I get whenever I talk to my friends or acquaintances about lifestyle changes. 100% they believe and defend the current system and look at me like I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist. But think about it. Imagine for a moment that you stopped eating the modern poisonous processed garbage foods and started nourishing your body with whole, natural, nutrient dense foods devoid of all high glycemic carbohydrates and sugars. You would basically eat your species appropriate diet. You would stop causing all that damage to your body and your brain, thus stopping inflammation. You would decrease the chances of developing any of the modern chronic diseases, and ultimately, you would not need all those medications. Well, if we all did that, though, Big Food and Big Pharma and other entities we did not discuss today would collapse. And that's not acceptable. So it is imperative that you remain plugged in into the matrix. Don't listen to me. All right. I hope this video was useful and thought provoking for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until the next video. Bye now.